welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we're trying the Jim Beam Rye. How do they actually call it? Rye pre-prohibition style. Pre-prohibition is very old. And yeah, rye is also very, very old. The thing is, in the yesteryear, in the long ago, the thing was not really to make the best product, but people rather distilled what they have. So if they were growing rye, they were distilling rye whiskey. If they had barley, they were distilling single malt barley whiskey. And then later, when they had corn, they distilled bourbon, which is mainly made of corn. So the rye is older than the Kentucky straight bourbon or the bourbon in general, because the rye was grown earlier than the corn in the United States. And that is a bit about where is grown what in the United States. When you have Idaho, they do a lot of potatoes. Then you have a lot of corn also in the Midwest or Canada even, and in the Bourbon County and in the southern Kentucky they used to grow corn. So that was why they used to use corn for the bourbon. And in the more northern regions, there in Pennsylvania, they used to grow rye, and this rye used to be distilled to rye whiskey. So that was kind of the original whiskey that was distilled in the United States pre everything. So Pennsylvania was one of the first more inland states to be cultivated and had a lot of rye then. So there were a lot of distilleries there. And if you look up, there's a story called the Whiskey Rebellion. And that was just after the War of Independence within the United States. So the War of Independence was over, and the newly founded United States of America just saw they were in lack of funds. They were broke. They were really broke, and there was no way to borrow money. So they actually had to raise taxes. And they raised taxes on stills. And the people in Pennsylvania, the state of Pennsylvania, was really reluctant to distill, and they were like the most hit for this tax. And they were like, why did we participate in the War for Independence, and then now no, we're not going to pay the tax? So there was a Whiskey Rebellion, and the United States Army was first dispatched inland to crush down the rebellion. But nonetheless, the rye flourished even after that, and later the Kentucky straight bourbon. So it's a bit unusual for a Kentucky distillery to distill a rye, but they do, and let's see how good they do that. And the thing is, the bourbon was so successful. That's a screw-on cap. The bourbon was so successful that there were not really any rye distilleries left, and also distilleries from Indiana. So the bourbon just swept away everything. So now we have a bourbon distillery distilling rye whiskey. There are new craft distilleries and very, very old distilleries refurbished and rejuvenated in Pennsylvania and Indiana to make a new rye whiskey. But this is now a take from a Kentucky distillery on rye whiskey. Oh yeah, and it's spicy, but it still has a very round character. So it feels like a little bit of a rye whiskey made with a bourbon background. A lot of oak character, vanilla, caramel in there, but also a lot of spicy rye in there, gingerbread, A little bit of a fresh note, a little bit of a minty note going on. Not as much as in other rye whiskies, and I would consider it a rather mild rye whiskey from the smell. There are far stronger whiskies, rye whiskies. Mm. 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 The flavor has a lot more kick to it. I would have expected to have a more of a round note, but the rye kicks in instantly. It's not one of these fresh pine needle ryes, but more of the rye bread rye type of whiskeys with a lot of spiciness, a lot of oomph to it, a lot of strength to it, and quite strong. I would have expected much more milder note for a Jim Beam, because Jim Beam is usually also known for their more easy drinking style. This is strong, not easy drinking. It's 40% ABV, so there's no alcohol hitting you. Mm. Mm. All in all, I would say typical medium spicy rye whiskey with a less flavor on this pine note woods type of flavors. I do like it in the most rye whiskeys, but this one I do like it that it's missing, because then you have the variation. I always love the variation in whiskey. There's so many types of different whiskeys. That's why I love whiskey so much. You have so much different flavors. So yeah, that was it. That was my take on the Jim Beam Rye. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.